Hello guys, welcome to DP Animations, and today we are going to be doing a tutorial on shapes intro logo animation, how to create simple logo intro with shapes. Okay, all right, so let's not waste time. Let's bring out After Effects. All right, so we have After Effects here. Let's create a new composition, 1920 by 1080. Let's name it arrangement. Just short it. So the background, let's give it white background for now. Okay, all right, so we have our new composition here. With the sample that I showed, I started with an arrow shape layer. So let's right click in the composition here, then new, then select shape layer. Okay, now let's select the pen tool, then create the arrow. Let's just draw the arrow, click here, then click here. Okay, so we have our arrow there. All right, so if you want, you have some adjustment to make here, you can just go back and select the selection tool, then adjust it the way you want. All right, so now let's come to stroke color here. Let me just give it a stroke color of something like dark blue. Okay, so this is okay for me. So from here, let's come inside the shape layer, click on the cascading arrow, then come to content. Okay, so when you come to content, under stroke, let's select, instead of bat cap, let me make it round cap. You see that? If you want to make the pointed head here also rounded, you can select a round joint there. All right, if that's what you want. Okay, so let me leave it for now. Then what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to animate the stroke, but before I do that, let's animate the scaling and the position. All right, so let's hit S, then Shift P. Okay, S Shift P to have the position and the scale together. So now that we have them, what I'm going to do is first the scaling, gaining, I'll go 0. I'll go 0 so that everything will disappear. So 0, then set a key there, then come to something like, let me see, 4 seconds, then come to 100. Okay, or it can be more than that, any figure that you want. So you have something like this. Let's see, it's too slow, I know. So let's make it something like 3 seconds. I think 3 seconds is okay. So we have this. Okay, so now that we have the scale, let's animate the position. Let's set a key here at the beginning, then on 3 seconds, let's just move the arrow out of screen. Okay, so you have something like this, so it disappears. All right, now select all the 2 keys, then right click on them, then select easy keyframe assistant, easy ease. All right, now on the scaling, select the 2 keys, then go to graph editor, then select one side of the graph, then pull it in. So let's see what we have. You see, it comes in fast, then goes slowly. All right, okay, so that's enough. Let's animate the stroke tool first. Under content, let's animate the stroke. So the stroke width here is what, 58. Okay, so that's the starting stroke point. So let me set a key there, then by the time it reaches the 3 seconds, let's go something like 0. And so let's see what we have. See, okay, let me drag the starting point in a bit, so you have something like this. Okay, so that's enough. Okay, so now that we have our stroke, now let's duplicate this. Control D to duplicate. All right, so now the second one, let's drag the layer backwards a bit, so that once this one comes, it follows. So you can decide to change the color of the second one. Okay, so let's give it another color, maybe something like a lighter blue. Something like this is okay. Okay, so we have this. All right, so after I'm done with this, let me select the two shape layers, then pre-compose them. Come to layer on the menu bar, then pre-compose. Let me name them arrow, then move all attributes, then click OK. All right, so with this, what I'll do next is duplicate this one again, the arrow, then flip this duplicated one, flip it to the other side. Okay, you flip it so that you have double, so you have something like this. You see that? Okay, so let's leave the arrow for now. Now let's create the ellipse shape layer. So let's create new shape layer. Now let's go and select the ellipse tool. Let's draw the ellipse. So you hold the shift key, then draw the ellipse. Okay, so that's it. But remember, because of time's sake, so I'm not taking my time to arrange it well. But when creating yours, take your time to arrange and position them well. All right, now let's put the stroke to something like 8. So we have our stroke here, 8. Let me position this here a bit. So now let's come inside the content. What we are going to do is we are going to add an animation to the stroke, the ellipse stroke. So let's add what? Trim path. Okay, trim path. So we animate the trim path. Let me animate it from, let me see, the starting. Let me see. Okay, the end. Let me animate the end first. Let me set a key, then come to something like 2 seconds, then crank it up to 100. Let me play and see. Okay, when it reaches here, the wiping will also start, so that the circle will disappear. So I'll set a key to here. So by the time it reaches something like 3 seconds, it disappears again. So you have something like this. It starts, what's forming, then it will be disappearing too. You see that? Okay, so you have this one. So what you do next is, let me make the keys easy ease. Let me easy ease them and see something. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's duplicate the ellipse tool. Control D to duplicate. So duplicate, Control D, then you scale it up. Okay, you scale it up, then you hit R for rotation. You rotate it to change. You see that because it's not positioned well when drawing the circle, you see that I'm having challenges with it. Okay, but it doesn't matter. All right, so let me put it something like 180, something like 180. Okay, so now let me just adjust this into the middle here. Okay, so that's enough. You can change the color. You can change the color to this one. Okay, so you have something like this. You see? So now all that we are going to do is we are just going to duplicate, continue duplicating the ellipse tool, then scale them down. Then let me reduce the stroke to something like 6. Then this one, the top one, duplicate it, then scale it down so it will come inside the middle here. Something like this, and position it well. So now let's select all the ellipse tool, then move them backwards a bit. Okay, so you have something like this. So let's see. You see that? Simple. you can decide to bring this one down under the arrow. Let me take this one for instance. I can decide to increase the stroke. Okay, then come inside, come to contents, the ellipse, then stroke, then change from bat cap to round cap. Okay, so that it will be rounded. All right, it depends on what you want. Okay, so you have something like this. You can decide the next one, which is the blue one, also the same thing. Okay, you increase the stroke size, then you come inside, click on the cascading arrow, content, ellipse, then stroke, then you select round cap. Okay, you select round cap. You see that? Okay, so from here you can decide to introduce a shadow to it. Just right click on it, then new, layer star, drop shadow. Okay, then on drop shadow, the distance, increase the distance, should be far away a bit, then the size 0, then the opacity, go to something like 10 or 8. So 10 is okay. All right, you can decide to do it for the rest of them if you want. Okay, but I don't want to waste time on those things. That's why I showed only one example so that you see how I did the shadows. Okay, so you have something like this. Okay, with a polygon, you just right click in new shape layer. Okay, then you select the pen tool, then you create it. Okay, if you are finding it hard to create it, you can just come to view here, then select rulers. Okay, so that you divide within the screen with the rulers and see where to point your your pen. Okay, so you have something like this on screen. All right, okay, so you can just go straight forward. You set a key here, set a key here, here, then somewhere here. All right, so after that you just have to adjust it. Okay, simple. So I have my polygon here. All right, I'm going to take the stroke off. Okay, I'm going to maintain only the fill. So let me change the color to this color. Then let me take the stroke off. All right, so now let's animate the first polygon. All right, let's use scale, hit S to bring out scale. So 0, let's set the key to 0, then let's set the key. All right, now let me move it something like 2 seconds, then increase the scale. See that? So I think this is enough. So you have something like this. Okay, so now let's select the two keys, right click on them, then select keyframe assistant, easy ease. Come to graph editor, then pull one side of the graph in. So you have something like this. So now let's see what we have. Comes in fast, then slow down. All right, okay, so that's enough. So now this is the first polygon. So what you do next is duplicate this one. Okay, you duplicate this one, then the second one, let's change the fill to something like green color. Okay, now we have this. You see that? What we are going to do is we are going to track matte the top one onto the second one, but in this case we are not going to use the track matte part. Okay, we are going to use the blend mode to do this. So let's select the one on top. Okay, it says here normal, so let's click there, then come to the stencils here, then select something like, let me see, stencils alpha. You see, so once we select the stencil alpha, it cuts a hole inside the polygon. You see? So if I were to take the background color off, you see that it's transparent. All right, so now the bottom one, let's right click on it, then give it a shadow, layer star shadow. Okay, now let's see the distance. Let's pull it away, then give it something like 10 percentage, 10, then the size 0. Okay, so you have something. Let's see what we have. Okay, all right, so you can decide to animate the shadow to when it comes like this, then the going, let's see the distance. You set a key at the distance, then by the time it gets to where it disappears, you come to 0. So let's see what we have. You see? All right, so I have my two polygons here. Let me, I think where it ends here, I think this is okay. Let me just cut it to this point. It ends here, so this is okay. It comes in, see that? You see how the polygon came in? You see how the polygon came in? I don't want that particular style, so what I'll do is I want to cut it from here. I don't want it to start from 0, so I'll cut it from here. Okay, so it will start from somewhere like that. All right, so I'll duplicate these two, Control D, then bring them up. Okay, so it will be, let's see, this one comes, then wipe, then the next one also comes, then wipe. So we have something like this. Too slow, so let me bring this one in again. You see that? So when it wipes like that, that's when the logo comes in. Just to give a bit of style to what you are doing, okay, you can decide to, maybe you see the ellipse here, you can decide to duplicate some, okay, then bring some somewhere here, then you scale it down. You just throw it about on the screen. Okay, just play around at this point. Just play around with what you are doing. Okay, so after you are done with this, then you create a new composition, then you name it main. You click OK. All right, so now what we are going to do is we are going to bring the arrange, the one we did over there, we are going to bring it here, then give it a background. Let's create a new solid layer, make it comp size. Let's change the color to something a bit to gray side, and then let's click OK. Okay, now let's bring it under, so you have something like this. All right, so now let's bring the logo. Let's scale it down a bit more. Okay, so let me cut it somewhere here. So now let's see what we have. You see that? Simple. But with the logo, I don't want it to just come and be still there, or just be subtle there. All right, I want there to be a move, some kind of push. So what I did was I used the scale. Okay, let me set a key here, an ending key, then come back. Okay, then goes 0, then in the middle I blow it up. Okay, you see, so it's something like this. It's not working. So what I'll do is, let me bring this one in a bit so that it will be a bit faster. So let's see. The scaling here is too big, so let me take it down the notch a bit, and let's see what we have. All right, so you select, after that select all the keys, then easy ease them. So you have something like this. Nice. You see that? Then it settles down. Let me bring it backwards a bit. Okay, we are going to create some kind of motion whereby when it settles, there will be some kind of light rippling around it also, passing by. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I have the video here. Okay, so you see when it's you see that there's some kind of white rippling going on around here. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. It's quite easy actually. Okay, let's not, instead of not waste time, let me just copy one of the shapes from here. Okay, let me just copy let me see, let me copy this one. Okay, let me copy this one, then let me take it there, let me paste it here. Now let me take the animation off, come to content, ellipse, then take the trim animation off. Right, then the stroke too, let me increase the stroke. So let me just crank it up, the stroke, let me crank the stroke up. All right, then let me change the color to something like white. Okay, so now we are set. The only thing left is, let's go to effects, then let me see, fast blur. Okay, let's use the CC radial fast blur. Okay, let's just double click on it. Okay, you see it gives us a nice fade out, you see. So let's just increase the amount here, then you are done. Okay, so the scale animation. Okay, so let me be the scale, let's go something like 0, then set a key, then blow it up. See that? So select the two keys, easy ease them. Okay, easy ease them, then come to graph editor, then pull one side in so that this side will be faster. It will be faster at the beginning then slow at the end. So you have something like this, you see. Okay, so now let's bring that one to the bottom of the logo. Let me see. Okay, beautiful, you see. So basically this is how I did the intro, the shapes intro logo animation. All right, I hope you all understand, but for time's sake, that's why I did not decide to adjust some things. Okay, so that it will be like the middle here, you see that it's lower. Okay, but when doing yours, just watch the pace, how fast you want it to be. All right, watch the pace and arrange it accordingly. All right, okay, all right. And guys, in case you need any of the project file, just let me know there. My Telegram channel account is there, just go there. I'll post the project file there in case you need it, then you download it and use it. All right, see you next time.